supposed to say, baby, before you walk away? No, I'm in the war, I'm in the race, chasing the time. I've been meaning to find a way to face that I'm not in a wires every day, trying to keep my head above the waves, staying alive. And I don't mean to be the guy that wanna push you to the side, and all the line and not the lie, you know. So when I leave your shit on red and you're running cycles in your head, baby, I'm just trying to stay ahead. Ooh, just stay alive. I'm not saying you got to go. But it's something you got to know. Stay alive. Stay alive. It's just something you got to know. Now lately we popping on the edge, and I kinda regret some things I said. I don't want you to leave, so stay instead, and I pay the price. In the morning we'll both be good and gone, and the world will continue moving on. But I swear that there ain't no other one, just staying alive. And I don't mean to be the guy that wanna push you to the side, and all the line and not the lie, you know. So when I leave your shit on red, you're running cycles in your head, baby, I'm just trying to stay ahead. Ooh, just stay alive. Nothing left to lose. gon' make you move. We gon' make you lose. We gon' make you move. So baby, let's jump in tonight. Let me get funky.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Some more MCS action. Week number, what are we on now? 6? Jeez. It's been a quick season. It's been a fast turnaround. It's been a slow descent into madness is what I would say. I wouldn't describe it in any other way, but it is 3 o'clock on a Saturday, and you know what that means. That means we are playing some Premier Series as we obviously looking back on week number 5, and we'll skip ahead though to week number 6. I myself am about as ready as I could be. Me and Gold Dude are here. Shout out to him jumping in last minute with me on a Saturday afternoon. It is going to be fun, and I mean, we're just gonna get into it. We'll look at the schedule. We got the Lumberjacks and the Outlaws. The Lumberjacks sit on top of the leaderboard currently for Premier. Kansas City in 6th. They're trying to close that gap that has kind of slowly materialized as the season has gone on. But Lumberjacks did win Major 1, so that is definitely helping them stay in front. But Gold Dude, that second series, Brainerd and Omaha, a 4 versus a 5. Big matchup there because one of those teams is going to get that 5 points and obviously elevate themselves a little bit farther. But yeah, I mean, you know, we'll talk about the Bemidji and KC match first, but the Bemidji series is one that we have to really, really look at because they got swept last week. Granted, it was with 2 subs, but that has kind of closed the gap between they had a larger lead last week than they did. They were up by 11 points at one point. So they definitely had a larger lead than they do this week. So it's you know, it's the slow descent into madness.
Yeah, and slow descent is right. Descent into the belly of the beast as we head closer to LAN when each series gets more important. And yeah, the Lumberjacks, like you were saying, leading Premier right now, but they do have to be a little bit careful. Duluth starting to nip on their heels a little bit. They were able to pick up a sweep this week, which again, is another couple of points for them, inching closer to the Lumberjacks. And, you know, it may be against the 6th place team right now in the Outlaws, but anything can happen on any given week, especially when you're coming off of having some substitutes. You might have some jitters getting back into that full roster. And so, yeah, Bemidji's got to bring their best game today if they want to pick up a win.
Yeah, and they will have their full roster for the first match, for the first game of the match. They'll have to sub, though, after that, as I'm trying to get into that as quick as possible so that player can do their thing. But I didn't have the correct number for Duluth there at 27 points, not 22. So the gap is even closer. It's now 33-27. So, I mean, a win here for Duluth. I believe they don't play a team inside the top 5. Or they already played Green Bay, this week, and they won that. So they're done for the week. And as is Green Bay. So chance for one of the Omaha Brainerd teams to move up in the standings here, but they can't pass Duluth, hypothetically, based on game differential. But going back to us, Cole, dude, I need your prediction for this series. Bemidji is on the blue side of the field, and Kansas City is on the orange. I kept it, tied to the blue and orange sides as best as I could. So what are you thinking?
Even though they're going to have someone subbing up, I'm still going to consider it a little bit of an upset just because they were the Major 1 winners. I am going to actually have Bemidji falling. I think it's going to be a 5-game series. I'm excited for a good one. I am going to predict KC here.
You got me. You know what? And I'm going to join you on that train. I'm going to go with KC, and we're going to roll with it. I think this opening game is going to be the difference, honestly. As you and I both pick Kansas City. Call me whatever you want, but start your engines is correct. As we load into game number 1 of this series, week number 6 kicks off with the full rosters on both sides. So far, though, it's an opening goal for Gray right off the kickoff, just 2 seconds in. That's all it really, all it takes.
And just an unfortunate kickoff as Mogi upset in the chat there. Ball just finding the perfect spot for the Outlaws, getting right past that cheater on the defense for the Lumberjacks, and they find themselves in an early hole. I thought maybe would be doubled up there, but they're able to save it for the time being, although Mace has to be a little bit careful without boost, and they're struggling to get out of their own half right now. They, it's still early in the game, but they have to turn things around quickly, as that could have been an opportunity, but ends up going wide.
And just to help a little bit, that's a great shot from Mace. The ball just kicks out into the midfield using that new nice shot goal explosion that came in with the big season 19 update, the 3-parter update. As top left slot goes the ball. A heads up on the top right of your screen, you'll see 4 stars. That is Cole. Cole's name has been, I don't know what is wrong with it. He's talked to me about it for a while now. Cannot figure out what in the world is going on with his name. Obviously, Rocket League does not like it. So, in any case, that is Cole. It's a great touch from Night Fang. Just putting pressure on the Lumberjacks there, as they can't really get anything out of that. Both teams doing well on the season so far, staying in the top 8, staying consistent. This Outlaws team lost to Green Bay in 5 a couple weeks back. Bemidji has beaten pretty much everybody in light of their first major win. So, realistically, anything is possible for them. But we'll see what happens with this Outlaws team after this game 1 goal, dude. Because, do you think things will change? I think Solis is a good enough player to keep things close for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think he's a good enough player to keep things close talent-wise. You do just have to bring into question, it can be difficult. Sometimes it works out in your favor, as that's a nice shot there, but it's saved by the blue defense. As I was saying, it can be hard sometimes to make a roster change in the middle of a series just because they could have a different play style, maybe a different tempo. So it's something you almost have to have 2 feeler games here if you are the Lumberjacks, but it may work out because the other team also has to make that adjustment as well. I'm really excited for this series. The Outlaws have a huge opportunity here to leapfrog a couple of teams in the standings, like we were talking about earlier, as that's a nice boom. Mogi with a shot opportunity, and it's saved by Night Fang. That was a lethal offensive attempt there by the Lumberjacks, but they're able to weather the storm.
And keep it tied at 1 here. Mogi goes missing. We'll leave it for Mace. Good pressure on the ball, though, from Bemidji to close that gap down. There was a bit of space that they had given up. Wesley on his backboard decides to catch it. Normal Wesley. I want to know what unnormal Wesley is like. Maybe we'll get that later on in the series. Night Fang looking for a bump. It takes both defenders from the Lumberjacks to keep it out. And a good touch off the ceiling for Gray. This allows Wesley the return. He's got a read on the ball and a shot. Just keeps pressure on the ball, stays with it. Gray's touch I thought was good enough, but gets away, and nobody from Kansas City turns. And as a result, there's enough boost from the Lumberjacks in the midfield to take that shot. Now a 2-1 advantage, and we got 2-12 still left on the board.
Yeah, and that was a 5-finger discount on the backboard there. It was completely free as we see a flip reset pass attempt, but it goes high. Nice save there by Wesley. Yeah, just a little bit of a rotational issue there for the Orange defense, but they're not able to... Oh, that's got to be one. This could be another opportunity. Fakes it for the teammate, tries to go for the bump, gets one to bite, but Mogi actually able to pick up a touch there, and they have an opportunity now here. Boost, Mace, flip reset, huge power, and it's only finds the top post instead of the back of the net. That was a great opportunity, but I think got a little bit more juice on the reset than he was looking for.
I mean, if you're Cole, you're kind of upset that you don't score that, but I mean, there's going to be other opportunities in the series. I mean, you have to think that as Gray gets over the top of Mace. Huge dunk from Night Fang. It's going to find its way in. Kind of came out of nowhere. Gray's first touch was good enough to get over Mace, and then Wesley, I thought he had the 50, but Night Fang just a little bit behind the ball ends up just dunking the ball into the net. And we've got 2-1, 2-1-2. Don't see that very often, but still 70 seconds left in this game. Good back pass from Mogi. With Mogi leaving this series after this first game, you have to think this has to be a win for the Lumberjacks. Huge save from Mace. No boost left. Has to stay on the ball, though. Does. Mogi pre-jumps the midfield pass. Cole going to sit on it. Wins the 50-50. Night Fang again on the challenge. And so far this season, the mid-season edition of Gray has, I wouldn't say paid off just yet, Gold Dude, but it's definitely gotten them in the conversation with some of these top teams.
Yeah, so we see a little bit of a double commit there. One ends up getting demoed. Mace gonna have to race back to this. I thought he was gonna rip that on his own net press. Adjusted at the last second. He's trying to pop it high. Ends up going over no one but his own teammate who has to catch up to it. Mace able to get a touch to the backboard, but that goes right down to Cole. Shot just finds the left of the net. Not able to capitalize with 15 seconds left here as Night Fang's going to grab that corner boost. Both teams jockeying for position here. That's a big beat for Cole, who goes up to Night Fang on the sidewall. Night Fang collects shot opportunity, doesn't use the reset. That's a nice demo by Mace to keep the ball in play on their end.
Oh!
As that's going to go just wide. That could have been an opportunity, but instead we go to overtime.
Yeah, that was close. As I think Night Fang, if he just hits the ball a little bit harder, maybe it comes off the backboard a little bit faster. Night Fang tries to land on the ball off the backboard. Good challenge of back-to-back challenges from Wesley to stay on the ball. Mogi will cut midfield. Wesley gets that challenge. Demo, though, from Cole on a Mace. Gray off the side. Shut down again by Wesley. He's demoed. Now it's just Mogi all left. 44 boosts still left to work, though. Mace on the respawn has enough to get out. Gray still keeping pressure, and we're just sitting in this Outlaws half. Good touch from Mace to stay on it. Has the flip. Has the recovery, but doesn't have the second challenge. And Kansas City, I mean, they've kept all the pressure in the latter half of this game. A third-man demo from Mace will get a little bit of breathing room for the Lumberjacks, but man, they've been locked in their half the past minute and a half.
Yeah, and the Lumberjacks, who we've talked about, kind of need to come away with this game one to start the series off right before Mogi ends up dipping out. They have been struggling on offense this overtime. They had a really nice opportunity a little bit ago, but mostly been in their own half. Instead, I don't know where the defense was. Gets past one defender in the midfield, and it seems like that's all it needed.
And that will be the winning goal. 5 scored in this first game, and yeah, it kind of comes out of nowhere. Lumberjacks will take game number 1, just like they planned. And as a result, their player will dip out, and hopefully Solis will come back in. I I have no idea though that if that's the case, maybe Mogi stays for a longer game. But Mogi on 100+ ping is doing everything he can to keep this game close. But that game number 1, hey, all Outlaws on offense for the latter half of it, but they don't come away with the victory. Now, will that be a theme for the rest of the day? Man, I hope not. But hey, if it ends up being the theme, they're going to be kicking themselves after this series is over, because it's like one of those things. We gave it everything we had. We threw everything in the kitchen sink, and we don't come out with the win. As looking back at this win, that was such a good touch from Mace, and Mogi was there to clean it up. 8 shots for Gray. Poor guy only scores one goal as a result of it.
Yeah, and the Outlaws with a pretty, I would personally hanker to guess, an unsustainable offensive output in the shots category. 16 shots to open this series. It's really tough when you put that much on the field as... Okay, I thought Mogi was maybe leaving there. 16 shots and you don't come away with the win. You double up your opponent and they still score more than you. So hopefully they can convert more of those opportunities here in game number 2. So far, series kind of going as at least I expected. I'm sure you as well. We'll see who is going to be playing here, as I don't see Soulless in the lobby, but the Lumberjacks do appear to be stalling a little bit, so potentially he'll be hopping in here shortly. Regardless, I'm really excited to see how game number 2 goes.
That's Cole. Oh, it's not even on the Bemidji side. It's Kansas City. So apparently saying they have a player who is not looks like he DC'd. Unfortunate, as they're getting a sub currently. Cole must have lost connection to the game. One thing to remember about competing goal, dude, is when you DC from the game, your teammates not only have to find a sub for you who's available, but also get them in the game. And then once that game starts, they can't sub out players mid-game. So when they start a game, that's who they're running with. And regardless if they DC, I mean, what do you do then? You're running on possibly 2 players, depending on the game and how it's going. But we'll see what happens. But
well, and if your substitute isn't kind of ready with the team before the series, the odds that they're warmed up and ready to go, not really great. You might have someone just hanging around, booting up the game. So you could have a player jumping in that might not be warm, and they're joining something mid-series against the team that has already played a full overtime game, and you just gotta get that intensity ramped up pretty much immediately. So it's a tall task really for anyone, let alone if you're subbing up someone from a lower tier. It looks like Cole may have joined back.
Oh,
we may be in luck here.
We may be in luck here, yeah, to get it going, as we will. Cole looks to be back in the lobby. Don't know what happened there, but we are gonna go into game number 2. Lumberjacks lead 1-0. Wesley off the kickoff. They lead 1-0 in the game and the series. And now 4:58 is all it takes. 2 seconds. We saw it in game 1 for the Outlaws side. Now we see it in game 2 from the Lumberjacks side.
Yeah, and that 2-second goal in game number 1 ended up being the difference here, as Cole seems to not be moving once again. He has backflip, but we'll see. I don't know if that was the cause for the first goal. I wasn't paying attention to Cole there. Nightfang still playing as if we're going. Not sure if Cole's still on his roof, but everyone seems to be playing on, at least for the time being.
Just to be safe, I'm going to pull up the rule book on this, but I do believe that since we have outlined the rule book that unfortunately, since a goal has been scored, they have to continue through the game until either a sub or a player can fill the spot. So, and I think Nightfang and both Gray know that. As they're almost going to score a goal. I tell you what, when you're playing in a 2v3, there's so much more boost to work with. I've seen teams almost legitimately are able to 2v3 sometimes, just based on what the defense is giving them, but also, it's not easy to play a team when there's only 2 players on the field and you have 3. It feels like your third man or your second man even doesn't know what a position, because it almost turns into like a smaller 2v2. But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening here, as still no Cole, no word on him. And unfortunately, I think they're going to have to continue on, as we're coming up on 2 minutes regardless. And anyways, even then, a goal has been scored, so that will fault the 2-minute rule. So we'll see if the Outlaws can get something done with only 2 players on the field.
Yeah, and I would love to see... Okay, Haz did join the game. I'd love to see how this game would be going if the early goal lead was in favor of the Outlaws, because they've actually had some, like you're mentioning, some surprise offensive pressure. They kind of had more offensive pressure for the first minute of the disconnect, but unfortunately they do go down 2 here, as that's a nice midfield pass by Mace. Wesley able to put it front post there. It is it is really interesting when you're playing that 2v2, 2v3 like you were saying, because as the second man it's just so difficult to think of where to position yourself. So it's really hard to kind of commit as a second man, as Haz, who I was talking about, it's hard to just hop in a series. Well, maybe he's proven me wrong immediately. Off the corner, tight angle double tap. Not sure if it was going in, but it was own goal, and we are within 1.
If I will enlighten everybody on what's gonna go on, but technically this is a fault in the rule, where if you have somebody who disconnects, our rule book states that you have to either field a sub or the player has to join back the game within 5 minutes. It is within 5 minutes, and they have fielded a sub. So technically, they're able to do this. If it was in a different light, of if it had been past 5 minutes, then they would have had to continue on. But at this point, we are going to continue on with the rosters that are on the field, and we'll see what happens afterwards if Cole is able to join back. But I mean, Lumberjacks are still winning him, but how about Haz subbing in mid-series is available, hops in and scores a goal.
And I know you and I were both expecting a substitute to come in after game 1. I was not expecting it to be this way around, where the Outlaws have a substitute and the Lumberjacks still have their full roster. So Rocky League comes at you fast sometime. We still have a 1-goal game here, which it's pretty shocking that the Outlaws only conceded 1, maybe 2, depending on how that initial kickoff went while being down a man. But they're back at full strength here for the most part. Haz looking good early, although he has beat to that ball. Mogi trying to get it past, and they muscle it through. Teamwork makes the dream work there. Mogi and Mace able to pick it up despite having no boost on that initial pass. The 1-2, 1-2, whatever you want to call it, ends up working out.
As we'll see what ends up happening here for the latter half of this game. But a minute 23, you still got a little bit of time if you're Kansas City, but it's a huge boost steal from Mogi. Decides to sit on the ball. Thought you would see a Bemidji sub, but this is not what I was expecting at all. We have a Kansas City sub when it should have been, I was told, a Bemidji sub after the first game. So we'll see what ends up happening here. Haz on the ball, wins the 50 against Wesley. Gray into that corner, shut down by Mogi. Mogi wins another somewhat challenge. Back to Wesley. That clear will be down the field. Gray, though, has enough boost to sit on it. Mace, good touch. Trying to just force out Kansas City's boost numbers. He's trying to lower them as much as possible so his teammates can pick up boost, and then they can kind of weed this clock down a little bit faster. And they've so far done a pretty good job of it. Gold, dude, we only got 35 seconds left.
Yeah, and I thought Mace took it a little bit slow there. I thought he had an opportunity just to rip one on net. I think it was savable, but it would have really forced the defense out. Ends up slowing down enough where the Outlaws were able to recollect enough, although it does keep that clock ticking, and with only 15 seconds left, they need to pick up at least one here, and it is going the wrong way. Nightfang does get past 2, but it's shut down by Mace. I thought that was an opportunity, but with 3 seconds left, we are in miracle territory. Haz trying to be the hero, And he can't.
As that will end game number 2. That will end game 2, and that will be... It is going to game 3 now, and Bemidji has pretty much just had a stranglehold on this series so far. They haven't really been tested too much. I mean, game 1 obviously went into overtime. As it'll be interesting for sure. The latter half of the series, if Kansas City can get something going. Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening for the rest of this series, but yeah, I'm excited to see what happens.
And Lumberjacks on a series point now. I think maybe they heard both of our predictions and took that personally. Trying to pick up the sweep here and extend their lead on the rest of the pack in the standings. They still have to win game 3. Closing out that series is always tough, no matter how good of a team you are. We see this in every level of Rocket League, and I'm sure we'll see it here. Hoping for a dogfight at least in game number 3 if the Outlaws can't pick up a win here. But I'm excited just for some Rocket League regardless. Beautiful day outside and a beautiful day for some Rocket League. So we got kickoff here, game number 3. Mace versus Nightfang to open the kickoff. Mogi able to get a touch to himself, but little bit errant has with an opportunity. Not able to make anything of note, and we will play on.
Yep. I mean, I did send them the rule description that we have, so if they need an explanation as to why they were able to do that, regardless, it didn't affect the outcome of the game. I mean, Bemidji still came out with the win, so it would be a little bit different if, Outlaws came in and scored 6 goals, but, it wouldn't be different because the rule wouldn't change. It's a case of where, if a player does DC, like I said, either that player must return to the field within 5 minutes or they must field the sub within 5 minutes. We were well within 5 minutes of that. And in that event, also, a goal had been scored. So they essentially, the team that lost a player can attempt to replace the player at any point, which in reality, we didn't even look at the 5-minute rule because a goal had been scored. So regardless, flip reset for Wesley is going to stay on the ball. Will give his team some possession, but again, the ball rifled back into that Lumberjacks half. They've been comfortable though so far with this series, even with Mogi on 100 ping, and even with these two able to sit on the ball with a lot of boosts. We haven't had a point where Kansas City has been able to just take the ball from Bemidji and then walk by another defender, or win a 50 and then are able to get back to the 50 that they won. It's been a battle of, all right, we won a 50-50, but we can't get back to the stupid ball because we either don't have the boost or we're bumped off.
It's just been back and forth in game number 3 here. I did see a couple of creative opportunities for the Outlaws, as that could have been a nice shot. Ends up working out in their favor. Nightfang picking up the goal, giving their team some life here in the series. Little bit of just weird commitments, side flip by Mace, early attack, early challenge, and they find themselves down. That was really panicky defense by the Lumberjacks. I'm sure they can recollect themselves. They've looked great all series, but definitely not something you want to have continue here.
As we have 2 minutes and 40 seconds still left to go. Mace with the flip reset gets to the backboard, lines up Wesley a shot. Gray though able to make the save. As Mogi will get around one player. Looks to keep going. Nightfang though will shut it down. Nightfang and Mogi have had many battles throughout the seasons that have gone on, the very recent ones. Constantly have played against each other. I would like to see a time where they're on the same team. That would be kind of cool to see the dynamic of, somewhat rivals, but players who have played against each other so much finally finding common ground on the same roster. Will it ever happen? I don't know. It's the beauty of, being drafted. Gold dude is you don't know where you're going to go. As 2 minutes to go and Outlaws holding, clinging to a 1-goal lead. Will they be able to stave off this Lumberjacks attack long enough to get to a game number 4?
That was an interesting opportunity, my Night Fang. Just going under the defender there. Ended up working out at least past one. Wasn't able to get it in front of the net. As that was a decent pass back opportunity. Or attempt rather, but a little bit too strong there. Something interesting to think about, has subbing in for this series, actually has been on the same organization as Night Fang. Even as recently as last season, they were both Fargo Steelhawks. As this is a nice opportunity off the backboard, can't find it. Night Fang pops it high, trying to pop it down, but just can't, and it's gonna pinch towards their net. No dunk, Gray off the ceiling, first one up, but it's saved away as they're trying to extend their lead, and they're not able to do so. They would love to get the insurance goal here, as the Lumberjacks have not been easy on them all game, continuing their offensive pressure that they had in game number 1, and Night Fang just trying to get it out. 43 seconds left. The Lumberjacks are so aggressive, as they should be, trying to get this 1 goal back, but they're just not able to find it yet, although there's a lot of game left.
Yeah, a lot of game left. A lot of Rocket League still left to be played here. 30 seconds now, as 1 goal advantage still for the Outlaws. They still have pressure on the ball, but they give the ball right to Mogi. Pops it up to the ceiling, gets around the last defender. Haz is the only one there. He has no boost. Wesley backflips, though, and Haz didn't even have the read regardless. But as a result, Night Fang walks the ball into the corner. And now that's likely going to be the end of this game number 3. A chance for a second. Craig gets the double. It will hit the ground. Kansas City has life here in this series, as they're going to win game number 3 and move on to game 4.
Outlaws fans had to hold their breath a little bit at the end there. Mace looked like he was in perfect striking position, ends up getting shut down, thankfully. And looks like Mogi this is the time that he's subbing out, was able to play 2 games more than expected. But, maybe the Lumberjacks got to sweat a little bit now, because they weren't able to close out the series. They're now losing Mogi, who is, I think, a superstar in this league. He's so fun to watch, as he had a great, about as good of a pass as you could ask for off the ceiling there, getting past that defender off the backboard, but just the backflip, they weren't able to pick up a goal here.
As the only 1 goal, as we're just waiting on the sub from Bemidji on the little bit of time left in they were playing a game. But regardless, we'll go into game number 4, and we're going to hang out here for just a second. But yeah, that only goal scored by none other than Night Fang. As it was kind of just an open net, about as free as you could want it to be. And as a result, only 4 shots on the side of the Outlaws, 4 on the side of the Lumberjacks, but they hit 1, and the Lumberjacks did not. So that should be a fun series for the rest of it. But 2-1 so far. Lumberjacks still lead it. They won the first 2. Kansas City has countered back with a game of their own. And this was kind of a difference for me, Gold Dude. That game 3 was weird in that we had only essentially 1 goal scored, but not a lot of chances. And for Bemidji, they've been scoring in bunches. It was weird in the fact that they didn't score at all. So what went wrong? I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, you have a combined 24 shots for these teams in game number 1. Game number 3, 8 just total, only 1 goal scored. Night Fang, he had 1 shot, his stats for the whole game. Now there's a lot of things that don't contribute to the stat sheet, but his entire stat line was 1 shot and 1 goal, and that goal was the game winner. There was not a demo, there wasn't a save, but that's all that they needed to pick up a win. And if you're in a reverse sweep situation, you just need to get 1. That being said, it was really weird that the Lumberjacks only had 4 shots on net. It was like both teams were playing in the mud almost. Just a midfield brawl. I did ask for a dogfight. It was a little bit, I think, messier than I was anticipating, but I'm really excited. Game number 4. The Lumberjacks, this is when you show kind of how strong of a team you really are. It's in any sport, in any league, you can be leading the league, but when things get ugly, do you have that in it? Do you have it in you and in your team to really pull through here? If they drop this game, it's in a really bad mental position, and they're bringing in a sub now too. So I know this was an expected substitution, but in, I think, different circumstances than everyone was expecting. So Lumberjacks, I think, pretty much as must win as you could ask for, barring game 5.
Yeah, I like how you said must win. Obviously, yes, it is a must win game, but it's more of like you need the confidence to begin with. Like, this needs to not only be a win, but it needs to be a confident win. We need to see a 3-0, a 3-1, a 2-0, something where your opponents only score probably 1 goal or lower. You can't be giving up more than that, because when you do, that doubt kind of forms in your mind. Even if you do make the 5th game, it's like, all right, whatever, we made the 5th game, but hey, they scored 4 goals in the last game. What's stopping them from doing it again? And maybe their defense plays a little bit better, and they just end up blowing us out. But it's a good pass in midfield. Cut out by Mace, though. Huge stop there, because Gray for sure was putting that one in. And a player that appeared last season, was picked up and immediately became one of the top goal scorers in all of Premiers, finds an infield pass to Haas. Solis was sitting on his goal line waiting for the shot to come in, but Haas kind of just turns it into a fake. Wesley up touch to himself, gets a reset, but Gray has the save, and as a result, it almost got out. Solis' shot is blocked by Gray. He's going to use the post. Pass to Mace is off the backboard and nearly finds its mark, but again, just off the bar. Gray misses that, and that one's going to go in.
Oh, that's
a tough one.
Mace almost scored an absolute beauty, ends up scoring an ugly one instead about a second later. A little bit of front post defense there. It's not how you want to start the game if you're the Outlaws. They could definitely bring it back here, but they have to be careful. Solis, nice touch to just keep it in, although isn't able to follow it up with much. These teams, this game has been going by fast. We're already nearly 2 minutes down. Oh, I thought Solis maybe could have got the dunk there, but it was just a little bit too high. Nice bump there by the Orange defense. Has to make something out of nothing in the tank and is able to. Night Fang trying to play enforcer. We saw him pick up a double kill earlier in this game, which they couldn't do anything with, but he's still playing upfield, and that's kind of what I was talking about with a lot of the stuff that doesn't appear on the stat sheet. He's the only one up to this, ends up calling it off as he misses the initial trajectory, as these teams just continuing to lob it back and forth. Night Fang a little bit too patient, I think there. Had me nervous as Solis was creeping in, but they got a 3v1 now for the time being.
Huge miss. Night Fang gets by the last defender. It was Haz, excuse me. Similar car colors, I guess. I have no idea, but Gray with a good first touch will sit on the ball. Looks to go midfield, but can't get anything to go through. Haz doesn't end up reading that. Wesley misses as well. Solis subbing into the game so far has been all right, I would say. Has definitely, done the job for now, but Mason Wesley continue to tear this Outlaws defense apart as they have been the driving force here. That's going to be a free shot for Solis. A team bump between the Outlaws there. Rough on the backline goal, dude. And it was great to send Haz flying a little bit forward.
Yeah, just a little bit of a buddy bump there on the goal line, unfortunately. Wrong time to do it, I would say. They do have an opportunity here if they can get a nice 50, but it's nice save there's been moments really by both of these teams, and that's going to be one of them where you just got to kind of wince some misses that you think there's no way that someone doesn't get a touch, and that was one of them. That should have been a goal, especially in Premier. I mean, even in the other tiers, I would have expected that to have been a goal, but they have about 100 seconds left here. Minute 23 off the ceiling. Waterfall has trying to keep it in that back corner, but it's a nice 50 by Wesley, who finds Solus, who's up early, but nothing left in the tank. Another double commit on defense. Outlaws just not collected right now, and they don't have a lot of time left to make it happen.
And Knifing picks up 100, but Gray the only one with anything. It was Has with something, not Gray. As that will be Solus to make the lead 3-0 now. As good first touch, Wesley ends up leaving it for him. As that will be a goal. No idea what Solus said. Timmy Trumpets out of the bullpen is what he said. I have no idea what that means, but out of the bullpen, they called on the closer, and Solus is there. So is Has off the kickoff, makes it a 3-1 game. Hold your popcorn for just a second. As a great first touch, Solus misses that backboard read. As, yeah, Gold Dude, that's the perfect response to that. 54 seconds left. Another kickoff chance. Remember, Outlaws scored the game one opening goal off of a kickoff. This is not over just yet. Infield pass. Solus is last back. We'll win that 50. And 40 seconds now. Just burning the clock down is all the Lumberjacks are doing.
Yeah, and you challenged the Lumberjacks going into this game. You said, I need to see, just for the sake of the mental for the rest of the season, I need to see a 3-0 victory, 3-1 victory. Well, it's 3-1 right now with 25 seconds left. It looks like they're going to hold on to this lead here. Barring a miracle, is Nightfang going to pinch it out with nothing? It goes right to Solus. Solus flip reset. Gets a little bit lost on the touch there, but Solus has looked really good. I mean, we know he was expecting to sub in. Really showed up in his one appearance here, as that could be another one. And it is Solus with the hat trick. 1 second left on the clock. This series is wrapped up as all can be.
Done and dusted. We'll still have a kickoff, but yeah, it is GG's all the way around. As unfortunately we will have a kickoff to end it, and they're gonna kill it down on the ground. Lumberjacks win the series despite the sub. They get it done in 4. As I said, we need to, we have to close this out now. This cannot be a game where you're going into it and you're, wishing that you did more. That was not the case here. This was a series that without a doubt was a win, and that's really all it needed to be, right? But looking back at this game, I mean, Solus a big performance, 6 shots, I believe more than that now, obviously 8 shots, something like that, 7 possibly, but had a hat trick in the game. So a big step up performance from the Lumberjacks from their sub. 3 goals on 7 shots. The sub comes out of the bullpen and throws 3 scoreless innings, as the victory will go to the Lumberjacks. And for them, Gold Dude, this series was about as controlled as they could want it to be. I thought, it could have been a little bit closer, definitely in some of the games where, the Outlaws had, especially that game 1. I feel like they're going to want that one back because they score first. It goes to overtime. They don't end up winning the overtime. And you think, what the heck? How do we score first and not win the overtime? Well, it's because that happened.
Yeah, and like you were saying, going back to that game number 1, the Outlaws had 16 shots and didn't come away with a victory. I mean, you think about how different this series could have been if they were going into game 4 with a 2-1 series lead. Well, I guess it wouldn't have. Yeah, it would have been 2-1 at that point. So, but instead, this one's done in 4. 3-1 is the final series score. And Solus, like you were saying, stepping up huge, going 3 for 7. It was a really good game for the Lumberjacks. They heated up as the game progressed, which is what you need. That's what you need as a good team, and it's how you compete at the highest level in the MCS. Just getting stronger as the game gets closer and tougher. They started with one goal about a minute and a half in. They ended up with 4, picking up a couple in that final minute. Last one more of just the cherry on top, but still sweet as ever. And we still got another series today. Really excited for that one, but the Lumberjacks extending their lead and the Outlaws still stuck in that middle ground here. Yeah. But they'll continue to fight for land position.
As, like you said, only extending that lead, only making it better than it needs to be. But yeah, 3-1 the final score in our opening series. A good one for sure. As up next, obviously, Omaha and Brainerd, they're going to kick off in just a couple minutes. But this next series should be about as important of a series as you could want. If you're the victor, you're playing the team ahead of you. They're only ahead of you by 1 point. And if you are, the Lumberjack, or if you're the Buffalo, you're playing the team that's directly behind you, that's hot on your tail, wanting to, win the series. But it'll be interesting to see what happens for sure. As I'm excited to see what ends up happening here for this next series. But it should be a good one for sure. Maybe we'll look back at the standings for a second as I'm trying to figure out what is happening with my computer, as it's kind of just going to kaput. Exciting for sure.
Yeah, the Buffalo and the Victory only separated by 1 point, as you can see there, and really it's just that major one performance that gives the Buffalo the edge in the standings. If they can continue to advance that's only going to help them as they go forward, pushing for land position, major position, and things like that. But Brainerd Victory with the perfect opportunity to leapfrog into that top 4. These two teams are going to be giving it. They're all just trying to, when you're in that middle ground, usually you're in that land position. But if you could just push yourself into that upper echelon of teams, it really just makes the rest of the season that much easier. That way you can avoid a team like the Lumberjacks or a team like the Superiors.
Oh, for sure. You obviously want to avoid those teams, but you want to, play to your strengths in that, you're doing what you can off the ball, but also doing what you can on the ball. Have to remember that when you're in this position, you're the 4 and the 5 seed, you're separated. Well, not by many points. I'm pretty sure Omaha's at 22 and Brainerd's at 21, excuse me. So I forgot to update that as well. Gosh, I'm behind, but I didn't mess up the Challenger standings. They're up to date. Shout out Green Bay. They're 10-1 on the season so far. Only lost 1 series. And I don't know who it was to. I'm pretty sure it was probably to Omaha, who sits ahead of them at 66 points. But I'm currently on a top 4 team in Challenger. We're sitting at 8-3, so we're not doing the worst in the world. But no, for sure a close series all the way around. It's exciting, especially when the seasons are this close, because 50 to 60 points that can be made up in a week. You especially with Challenger, you have 2 series, you easily can get those 10 points back. But I'm just excited to see what happens here with the latter half of this season, because it's important for us to keep in mind that these teams are all fighting for top 8, but they're all looking to be confident in that top 8. Shout out Fargo. They're 4-7 in Rising Star. They won major number 1, so it's the reason why they have 41 points. But hey, they're in a top 8 spot, and that's why the majors are so important. But
yeah, And I did quickly want to mention, as far as who took down Green Bay in Challenger, it was actually shockingly the last place Burnsville Inferno,
Of
picking
course
up
it
their
is.
only
Of
regular
course it
season. So
God.
anything can happen. It was 3-1 just last week. Yeah, I mean, you just wouldn't think, but like you were saying, shout out the Fargo Steelhawks. They actually made both grand finals for majors in Rising Star and Challenger. So it's a very well run organization, at least when it comes to the majors. Hopefully they could pick up some more regular season victories. But yeah, as the season goes on and we're slowly chugging along to Major 2 and to our LAN final, these teams are kind of shaping up, who is a regular season team, who are major teams. You got to be both really to be well-rounded. But for some reason, some teams they're able to show up, I guess, when it matters most. But yeah, that's why we love this game so much.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, coming up next, I fixed the replays. They weren't working for me right away, but yeah, up next, you've got the Victory and the Buffalo. That series is going to kick off in just a minute. We are going to a break, and we'll be back in a flash.
1974.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, series number 2, is about to kick off in just a minute. Just me for now. Cold Dude had to dip out, unfortunately. Had to get some things done, but regardless, we are going to go through the second series of the day, the Victory and the Buffalo. Number 4 and number 5 seeds going at each other. Last match before I have to get to work, but unfortunately, we're still going to play it. Yay! As Derecho and Rhythm playing off stream later on, but yeah, should be a good series, Victory and Buffalo. I'm excited to see what ends up happening. As yeah, shouldn't be too long here. I'm gonna make my prediction for this series. On the blue side is the Victory. On the orange side is the Buffalo. Full rosters on both sides. I am going to go with the... Man, this is a tough one. This is a tough one to pick. I'm going Victory. I'm going to go with the 5 seed. I'm going to pick the Brainerd Victory. I think they're going to win. And yeah, game number 1 kicking off right now in this series as these two teams deadlocked in the standings as close as you could want. And yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. As for some reason they have player numbers instead of names. That's okay because we have point of perspectives. But Fluffy, Caden, and Volt on the side of the Buffalo. Kademak, Whitlock, and Wubik on the side of the Victory. Full rosters. Kato looking for a reset, shut down immediately by the Buffalo. As I can probably tell you who's who based on the car designs. That looks to be Caden. And it is. I was right about it, as Fluffy on the ball leaves it for Volt. Gotta love that they still have not fixed this issue with private matches, as could clear down the field for the Victory. Or for the Buffalo, excuse me. As the Buffalo look to play a little bit of defense here. The Victory, a team that is no stranger to scoring goals. And as a result, Volt's going to keep pressure. I feel like if the Buffalo do score 1 goal, they're going to be happy to sit on their back line and score a bunch of goals, or save a bunch of shots rather than score a bunch of goals. Good flip reset chance here for Fluffy, and a big miss as a result ends up finding its way into the net. As, yeah, no idea how Ubik ended up missing that, but he did. Yes, I know we can only see numbers for names. It is called a private match bug. It is in the game. I cannot change it, unfortunately. As it sometimes happens. No clue what's going on. I did not touch anything. I just typed. That's all I did. But yeah, 2-0 lead for the Buffalo now, as the Victory are doing everything they can to find a goal. Whitlock on the ball. Demo on Wubik in the midfield. Whitlock decides to return the favor. Luckily, when I do switch to a player, I am able to tell you who it is. Kato with a shot chance, and that is the slowest shot ever to find its way into the back of the net. I have no idea how that's a goal, but as a result, it is. And yeah, unfortunate for sure for the Buffalo there is. I could start saying player number 5 if you want me to, but fortunately Rocket League does this to me sometimes of thinking that I want the player numbers instead of the names. No, I think I'll go with the names on this one. I don't know why anybody would pick the numbers, considering that luckily I know this is Volt Destroyer because in the bottom left that's his name, but also based on the car design, he hasn't changed his car design in probably 10 years. Wonder if he'll ever, figure out that the decal tab in your garage actually does work and that you can switch it to something different. But Caden on the touch looking for a double. Oh, that is so good. Oh, that is so good. It's such a great lineup. And it's player number 6, that's Caden. What a pass down the field, lines up the double and just slots it to the right side. You can't get anything prettier than that. Three to 1 advantage as there's about 2 minutes left to go. Lots of time left for the victory to get back into this game, but they are not able to get it done as the Buffalo looking to make this lead a little bit greater than 2. Volt on the respawn will get that challenge. Whitlock will stay on the ball, gets 50 by Caden. As Cato will turn on this, looks midfield, gets just a touch, goes off the backboard, open shot for Whitlock, and as a result, the victory cut the lead in half. I thought Caden's touch would just find its way in, but it just kisses the post, and as a result, it just turns into an open shot for the victory. And yeah, it is unfortunately it's a Rocket League or a Bacchus mud bug. It should be fixed by the end of by the start of the next game. You have to imagine that it will not be an issue, but. Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening here, as these two teams are fighting for the opportunity to move up into the standings, and they're doing a pretty good job of making a good case for it. As a good challenge there for Volt, almost wins it to Fluffy, but Fluffy decides not to continue further. Kato Mac flip reset, last defender back is Fluffy. That shot for Wubik is perfect, and it finds its way into the nets. And the victory down by 2 goals make the comeback, and now have evened the game up. And off the kickoff, Wubik will win a shot out. It's going to be saved by Volt. Caden pop touch to himself, gets over the last defender, lines up a double midfield. Volt has the shot, but Katamak is the save. Fluffy goes missing. Whitlock on the ball, keeps pressure, wins the dunk on Caden. Katamak sitting midfield looking for a pass, but none materializes out of that play. Wubik keeps pressure, looks for a slow shot. Fluffy, though, has it red. And as a result, we are out of our half in 30 seconds now to go. And, it's been a close series between these teams. It's a great shot on target, trying to break this tie, or the victory, who have come back by down 2 goals in this game. And it has all been led by Whitlock and Wubik. 10 seconds, a good shot opportunity for the Buffalo materialized, and a couple seconds ago, Caden into the corner, looking for a 0-second goal, but Whitlock has a red. Backboard touch now. Volt towards net. Caden has the save. Kato Mac has the save. Caden double. It's blocked, and it's just going to hit the ground. I don't know how that almost found its way in the net, but that got close. Kato off the kickoff made a miraculous save at the end of that regulation to keep the victory alive, but Buffalo almost stole that, and it almost became a win for them. As I will let you guys listen to the dulcet sounds of Rocket League for a couple minutes. As Kato flip reset gets it off the backboard for his teammates, but can't get it going just yet. As Volt down the net, right on target. Wubik has that save. And into the corner, keeps it close, and does his best to make sure that, you know, we have the game, and the victory are going to win this game off of the comeback, as they were down 3-1. They rattle off 3 goals straight and are able to win the game with 7 goals total. And yeah, the victory up by 1 in this series. Such a good play there, obviously, to score that goal for Caden and put him up 3-1. But it did not, it didn't materialize into a win for them. As into game number 2 now, Cato off the kickoff, looks for a chance. Buffalo are going to be kicking themselves that they didn't win that last game because it could have been a simple victory for them, but weren't able to get it done. As this one just kicking off, we have names back, friends. We can now see who is who. As, unfortunately, Bacchus Mod Bug did throw a wrench in that for game 1, but game 2, it is fixed. We are good to go. As 4:30, a lot of time still left on the clock. A redirect there. Caden, shot chance. Wovic just saves it on the goal line, but he's going to run out of boost eventually. And as a result, that shot for the Buffalo is going to go in. Both Caden and Volt probably had enough boost to get there. And as a result, they're gonna confirm that goal and put themselves up by 1. The Buffalo haven't struggled to score first in this series so far. The Victory have, I guess you could say, struggled to play solid defense. They gave up, they've given up 3 goals in that first game, but they did score 4. So, hey, if you give up a bunch of goals, you just have to score more than you gave up, which is what the Victory did. And hopefully that doesn't stay true, but Whitlock towards net, not going to redirect in time for Cato to get back to it. Big block there for Fluffy. Big block again from Volt. Huge defensive stand for the Buffalo so far, and this is what they've been known to do. Really shut down teams offensively. But in that game 1, they did it for the first 3 minutes, and up until that last 2 minutes, they could not stop that Brainerd attack, and as a result, that was the difference. Good shot again from Volt. It's been lethal so far in this series. Off the backboard, Fluffy lining up a double. Can't get there. Caden's redirect is not in time. And we'll see what ends up happening here as these two teams fighting tooth and nail for a chance as, Volt just wins the challenge and Whitlock can't get there, and a good shot from Fluffy to the far side. Game 2 so far, almost halfway done, dominated by Omaha, but hey, game 1 we saw was dominated by Omaha for a majority of it up until the latter half of it, and then it was a Brainerd takeover as they kind of just won, the last couple of minutes and won the game off of it in overtime. Caden midfield for his teammate, longtime teammate in Volt. Those two, they work so well together. You can just tell like the chemistry is what you need to see. Cato off the backboard, lining up one more touch, finds Whitlock midfield. The shot is weak. Double commit again. Fulvik committed as third man, trying to stay on the ball in time, but wasn't able to get there in time to read the play. And that one, Victory, you're going to be kicking yourselves for that because that probably should have been a goal. Even off of the poor shot, they still had a good opportunity from just the double commit and the overall terror that they created on the back line of the Buffalo, but controlled chaos are what the Buffalo are known for, and they're definitely doing a good job of it so far. Minute 50 left to go, and we're kind of just going to see what goes on here for the latter half of this game. Can the Victory get one on the board and close the gap? Game 2, 20 seconds left, utterly dominated. Sorry, I was on the phone there for a second. Game 2, utterly dominated by the Victory, or by the Buffalo, excuse me. The Victory do get one back, but it's not going to be enough here as time is going to expire on them. And we're going to go to a game number 3 with the series all knotted up at 1 game apiece. As this one will find its way down to the ground. Victory. Give up that game. They win game 1 off of the comeback, but they give up that game. And, I mean, it should have been obviously a little bit closer. There were, some attempts from the Victory to, keep the game close. But I mean, the start of it just was so difficult. And then a lot of saves that had to be made. And you saw the Buffalo score a couple goals that realistically could have probably been saved if positioning was just a little bit better from this Victory team. But the Buffalo, they capitalized on every single mistake that the Victory made, and it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening here in game number 3. But we're gonna load it on up and we're gonna play it and have some fun. And it's Rocket League, always a blast. We're gonna go to the new map actually. As loading on in the 10th anniversary map. I thought we could do it, and we are going to do it. Here we go. Game number 3. It's still technically on DFH Stadium, so you can't yell at me for that. But yeah, new map. Looks great. Very dark, but I do like it in the fact that it looks good. It's got a nice feel to it, and Caden has a nice feel so far in this series, has been really the player to stop from this Omaha team. I mean, just continuing to be an issue for the Victory. If they can't stop Caden, they have, good luck to winning this series. That's all I got to say. As nearly the play of the day. Flip reset. Caden nearly caught it into the shot, but wasn't able to get that to go past the illustrious crossbar. His Fluffy kind of just lands on top of Whitlock there. Reset chance for Fluffy. Lines it up. Cato down the field, lining up a double himself. Volt Destroyer has the touch. Whitlock towards net. Volt leans back and makes the save. Jumping mid-air to make that touch. And as a result, the Victory just cannot find a shot to go through. Caden on the defensive half gets some help from Volt. Fluffy chasing upfield wins the 50-50. Minute elapsed into this game number 3. And these two teams are deadlocked right now at 1 in this series. But so far, the Buffalo have the lead in this game as Cato trying to change that. Shut down again by Caden. That one going to go off the backboard. Wubek open net. He can't get the shot. And this Buffalo team, I tell you what, they just continue to have an answer on defense. As even when they look grim, the double commit comes out, still Fluffy and Caden combine to make the save. And again, another shot denied by Caden. Fluffy gets demoed by Cato. Cato obviously frustrated with however many shots they put on now, and they can't get through. As Caden wins the challenge. Cato no boost. Chooses to play around Caden, but is going to end up giving the ball to Volt. And not what you want to do if you want a winning recipe here for the Victory, as they've struggled in this series so far. Obviously, game 1, they came back and did a pretty good job, but ever since then, I mean, game 2, utterly dominance from the Buffalo, and game 3 has continued on like that as double commit again for the Victory, but regardless, they are able to make the save. Fluffy, no boost. Infield, Whitlock found Cato, but Cato had turned off, almost unsure of all right, am I going to go for this or am I not going to go for this? And Caden going to sit on the ball, gets a little bit of help from Fluffy. Friends forever. As Whitlock will catch in his corner, switches to an Octane. Not liking the feel of the Fennec in this game so far, even though they, news to everyone, they are the same hitbox, guys. So there realistically is no difference. A demo on Fluffy on the back line. That should have been a goal. Cato lined up the shot on the double, but just missed it. And that one has got to be a goal. I mean, you get a lead demo, you get a good play, and you finally break down this Buffalo team. You're just not able to put the shot on target. And really, that's what they're going to make you do is, in my experience playing against all three of these players, if you don't hit shots, you just aren't going to win. The way that they play, they're so good at making things not only difficult on you for your chances, but shout out to all three of these Buffalo players. They do not make things easy. Rarely do you see a goal where they're overcommitted or they give you the ball in the midfield. They just make things difficult. They do. I mean, if you want to win, you got to hit shots, and they got to be good shots too. It can't be, a little weak change up towards the net. It's never going to go in. I mean, they always have the save. They have the challenge. They are just such in control of their cars where it's just, they're such a tough team to get the ball by. As shot chance here for Wubik. As I say that, though, the demo comes out on the back line. Good challenge from Fluffy, but yeah, just the 50 goes right back to the backboard. Volt doesn't read it, and Wubik, again, that's a good enough shot. That's going to get under the defense. But the demo from Cato really made that play happen from the beginning. 1:03 to go here. 2-1 advantage toward the Buffalo on the victory, as looking to close this game out and go on to match point. Winner gets match point. Winner goes to game number 4 of the series, and they're looking to get this done. Open net. Easy play. You guys probably want to hear. You probably want to hear this. Should probably turn that up because there's a special announcer on this field. As you'll hear Shogun's voice here in about 7 seconds. As he's going to announce 30 seconds left. As clear down the field, gives it to Wubik. There he is. Thank you, Shogun. It's 25 seconds to go. Wubik will win the 50 to Cato. Cato looks to catch on a reset. Looks to dunk Fluffy, but Fluffy's challenge is a little bit better. Volt gives it to Fluffy. Wubik's out of boost. That one towards net. 10 seconds now. Fluffy will hit that one towards net. It's going to find its way in. Wubik's save was not good enough. Just not enough, really, on that boost number for Wubik, as he can't get the ball out. And another win that seems to be 4-1 for the Buffalo. As this one's going to wind down. Confirmed by the Buffalo for a win. They will be on match point. I did pick the victory, but I'm kind of second-guessing myself here. Buffalo up in the series 2-1. Can they close out game number 4? And I have a feeling that they're going to. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening here. Good opening goal for Caden. A flip reset was beautiful on that shot. This second goal from Fluffy. Fluffy just doing the dirty work, cleaning up. One more game possible for the Buffalo as they're looking to close this series out in 4. They can do it here, but they need to have a good, consistent effort that they've had compared to the last 2 games. Caden and Volt have been lethal so far. That one's just going to go in. Volt doesn't even need to touch it. Caden will score the goal. Cato just can't get back to the ball, and a big dunk. Wubik just wasn't there, and it just finds its way in. As tough for sure for these teams. As it'll be interesting for sure. To the latter half of this game, Caden lines up a double. Victory have struggled so far in this series when they've been down by a goal, but I mean, hey, the game one, they did come back, so they're never out of it, but they have got to get it going on offense if they're going to win this series. Whitlock with a big clear has been vital for the Victory's success this season, why they're in the top 5 to begin with. But the Buffalo, the 4 seed, showing why they're the 4 seed, is Volt will sit on that, win the 50. Cato with a good redirect. That's going to go midfield, though. Fluffy lining up. The shot hits the backboard. Caden just turns it into a clear for his team. But, yeah, I mean, where is Whitlock? Because he has been, improbable for this Victory team throughout the season. Can he step up when they need him the most? But so far, it has been a relentless Buffalo attack, as Caden just continues to be a menace for the Victory to deal with. A huge save from Cato to keep the game, only a 1-goal game. Keeps them in it. Fluffy will win that challenge again. Leaves it for Caden. Caden on the ball. Demo on the back line on Fluffy. Cato removes him from the field. 3-on-1 advantage for the Buffalo, but they can't get the ball through. They can't get it by Volt. Fluffy respawns. Has a 100 boost to work with. Again, Victory trying to remove Buffalo players from the field. They figured out that's the only way to score for them. But again, it doesn't materialize into a goal. As, again, the pressure now on the Victory. Infield pass to Caden, shut down by Cato. Again, Cato removes a player from the field, but again, the Buffalo have possession of the ball. It seems like you get the demo, but you don't get the ball. You aren't getting possession of it. This game almost halfway done. And the Victory are trying to inch closer to tie the game. As Caden will make it 2, and wasn't looking at the screen. Volt just left it for him. Oh, that is a rough miss from Mubik on the back line. That's going to be a 2-goal advantage now for the Buffalo. A big miss. As Whitlock pop touch shut down immediately by Fluffy. Fluffy, the backline defender here for the Buffalo so far. As him and Volt have kind of just let Caden run wild and free. As Caden looks infield, finds Fluffy. The shot goes wide. It isn't going to matter, though, because 2 minutes to go here. And they still have a 2-goal advantage. Shot chance there for Victory, but Caden has the save. Volt trying to work out of his half. Caden again on the challenge. Cato had the ball in his hands, but just didn't get enough on it. Lean back reset was good, but it didn't get him anything out of it. Volt on the ball now. Going to keep pressure in the latter half of this game. Victory trying to avoid losing in 4. They got to find 2 goals to do it, but they're going to even have to do that to get to the OT, and so far they haven't even done that yet. As even when they do win the challenge, it doesn't go towards the net. Whitlock looking infield, finds Wubik. There we go. It's in the net. 1:35. Plenty of time. And there's Whitlock when you needed him the most. He finds Wubik. And Volt nearly evens, almost saved that. This game winding down. Just over 70 seconds. Cato into the corner. Victory have some life here off of that goal from Ubik. but they can't get anything to go just yet. Caden wins the challenge. That could be it. Cato's back, though, just in time. Doesn't get the double he wants. Wubik is there to help him, though. 50 seconds now. Cato lining up a shot. Top left. It hits the corner of the bar. I thought it was going to go in. It looked good. Caden off his backboard makes the save. A demo, though, from Volt will relieve a lot of pressure here, and Caden's playing the clock game. He's saying, come and get me. A lot of boost to work with. Cato back on the respawn. Whitlock is able to get back to the ball and tie the game. No idea how this play even worked, as Cato's touch was kind of a fake. No idea how Whitlock's able to get back to that and turn the corner and tie the game. But he is. 37 seconds to go now, as game number 4 is on a knife's edge. Fluffy with a touch forward. Will we see overtime? Fluffy removes 2 Brainerd players from the field. As a result, it turns into a 1v1 between Cato and Volt. Volt will sit on the ball, though. Leans back on the reset. Caden dunks. Wubik has to make that touch. Leaves it. Volt has the shots! And you cannot be making those mistakes with such little time left. As 15 seconds left and both Brainerd players decide to leave it for each other. And I don't think either of them had the read anyways. Buffalo just have to kill the ball now for 15 seconds. Can they do it? Off the kickoff, though. Here comes the victory. Whitlock towards the backboard, cleared by Volt. Can they get it done here? Caden towards net, a massive save from Cato to keep their hopes alive. It's going to bounce up with 1 second left. Cato goes missing. Volt around 1. Looks to win the 50. Caden, though, hits it backwards and drops it down. And the Buffalo win game 4, and they win the series in 4. GG's all around. Congrats to Omaha. They cement their top 4 seeding even more as they're able to win this game, and they do it in 4. A heck of a game there for them. As looking back on it, that opening goal from Caden told the story of it all. A couple of mistakes there from, Wubik that just cannot happen. And even if they made the comeback, which they did, nothing materializes from it. As that will be the series. That means I am going to work. But regardless, a good series overall from these two teams. And one that I definitely enjoyed watching, was one that, I hope you guys enjoyed watching, because we try to be as consistent every week with streams and get you guys the best games possible. But it was a good series overall and a good stream, and was exciting to see. This last series was as close as I could want it to be, right? Like, you always go for a game 5, but 2 game 4s will do. No sweeps is fine with me, but that'll be the last series of the day. And victory in Buffalo. 3-1 the victory for the Buffalo as Lumberjacks win over the Outlaws in the first series. And it was a good one overall. But taking a look back at that series, I mean, obviously no nameplates in game 1, but beautiful opening goal for the Buffalo, and they just kept running with it. I mean, there's so many chances where it was Caden and Volt combining to get shots, and it was just play after play after play that they continued to make. But hey, this victory team, they did their best to keep this series close, and they did. They came back down 3-1 in this game. You'll see it here, but that play from Caden, gross, absolutely disgusting for the series. As I mean, it was really this game 1, this opening game. I thought the victory would continue on with this series even after going up in the series 1-0, and then winning this this overtime off this play from Cato, but they just could not continue the momentum that they built up. That will be our final series of the day. As thank you guys for joining me. Just me for this latter half one, but hey, that's okay. Week 6 ends. Week 7 starts next week. And obviously looking at the format, Week 7 being another doubleheader. We will play Week 7, and then we'll have a break for 4th of July, so happy 4th of July in advance. But after that, Week 8 continues, and then the major at the end of July, and then LAN comes up quick. But our trade window is done, so if you're on a roster, you're on a roster. The only moves you can make are with retirements. So, yeah, if you have any moves to make, you have to be through retirements. But, yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. And yeah, always a blast, always a pleasure. Have a good rest of your Saturday afternoon.
That's the battlefield, 1974.
Sorry I missed your call. Leave a message and I'll call you back.
I can't get you to focus. I just need to know your motives. You already know I'm broken. It's like you never noticed. You're stuck in hypnosis. I'm stuck feeling hopeless. I watch you getting drunk on us whilst I sit here sober. I feel so alone, even when I'm with you. That's why I wanna get away, but you asked me to stay, and I can't say no. I can't say no to you. That's why I wanna get away.